Coming into this course, I always knew how important the environment is, but never really took the time to fully understand the ways I can individually make a difference. But after a few lab sessions, I started to really gather a strong understanding of my impact and of the impact on all the existing species around me. Living in Victoria, I am really fortunate to get to experience walking through lush forests and take a walk on the beach not too far from my house. Seeing my classmates' biogeography photos is really cool. A majority of people seem to be from BC, so the photos were really similar, but it was great to see everyone's different perspectives of how they see the environment. It was a little disheartening to learn about Victoria's sewage problem that lasted for over 100 years. It's a great start that there is currently a wastewater treatment facility, but the damage to the ocean has not gone away. I remember going to Gyro Beach in the summertime and seeing signs everywhere because of the potential sewage contamination in the water. If there's such a risk to human health, it's difficult to imagine the marine life was unharmed by it. Also to the carbon cycle, that relies heavily on the ocean because it takes up more carbon from the atmosphere than it gives up. Phytoplankton are photosynthetic organisms that are important for turning carbon into organic matter. The condition of the seawater is very important to all the marine species, but if raw sewage is being dumped, it can have a serious effect on them and their role in the carbon cycle. Also, a serious and potentially dangerous thing in the water in Victoria are algae blooms. Often from the raw sewage that is dumped and the harmful fertilizers that run off are rich in nutrients that algae need to grow. This often creates a body of water to be eutrophic and the result of a fatal hazard for species in the area. Some ways to limit the potential of algae blooms are to buy eco-friendly fertilizer products and better dispose of other waste that may have a chance of running off into a stream or lake. Another thing I learned in this class that surprised me a lot was how biodiverse Vancouver Island really is. I got to learn about so many species from my classmates that were native here that I had never heard of before. It's crazy to me that I can walk right outside my front door and spot so many different species right in front of me. One of the species I particularly enjoyed doing a bit of research on was the Vancouver Island marmot. They are currently endangered and are an endemic species to the island. It was sad to see there was only 30 of them left at one point, but I'm glad to see there's roughly 300 left with the help of humans. A really cool fact that I learned about them is they're often referred to as whistle pigs, because they will make a whistle type sound whenever they are in trouble or face danger. They are also herbivores and the largest members of the squirrel family. When I was little, I remembered I used to always go to Oak Bay Marina to feed the seals, but over the last while I've realized how much it negatively affects the seals. Sure, it might seem like a fun experience for people to feed them fish, but the seals start to become reliant on humans for food, rather than hunting like they're supposed to. I remember some people used to hand feed the wild seals, which is crazy because seals surprisingly have very large and sharp teeth. There was also a viral video a couple of years ago of a young girl that was too close to the edge of the dock, and she got pulled into the water by a seal in Vancouver. She luckily wasn't injured, but it was definitely a reminder for some people that seals are wild mammals living in their own natural environment. I also learned a lot about local invasive species in this course, but the most annoying one for me is Scotch broom. Driving on the highway in the summer, it's not hard to spot loads of Scotch broom on the side of the road, completely overwhelming the surrounding environment. It's also the reason for the loss of many native plant species, as it chokes out any other foliage, crowding out any room for other plant growth. I removed a bit of Scotch broom last year with my dad, and it's definitely not the easiest shrub to remove. It's a very thick shrub, and quite difficult to remove the roots, but needless to say, I hope to remove more of it in this upcoming summertime. Overall, I was really glad I chose this course as one of my electives. I got to learn so much more knowledge about the topics of biodiversity, biogeography, biogeochemical cycles, and my overall impact. I also got to learn so much more from my classmates and the ways they are able to live sustainably. I believe that if people are able to be more educated surrounding the topic of environmental issues, then they can realize how they've been contributing in a harmful way and hopefully focus on adjusting to a greener lifestyle. I am also planning to continue to reduce my ecological footprint into the summer and to the best of my abilities.